Cult of Yurei faction from Bushido range. Here we got Kato the Puppet Master, Karai Militia, Karai Villager, Ikiro, Gok the Corpse Collector, and Armad Karai. I made some very interesting bases for some of the miniatures in this set. A good base should always work in a tandem with a miniature. It shouldn't detract attention from it, instead it should complete the model, like a frame does a picture. But the best ones are the ones which actually tell a story, so the base actually become like a little diorama in its own right. Okay, now let's look at each of the miniatures in greater detail. Kato, the Master of Puppets. He's controlling not just puppets but zombies as well. Notice all the porcelain masks on him, because in Japanese mythology, when wizards animate zombies, they do it by using magical porcelain masks. For his base, I made this really creepy looking puppet theater. The creature who sits inside it looks kind of female, but it's unclear whether it's alive or just another puppet. But it looks like it's too big to actually fit in this little theater. Maybe space inside it is compressed, like TARDIS. It's magic, don't question it. I really like how the smoke from his pipe takes the shape of a woman who whispers in his ear. I guess even the puppet masters got their strings pulled by someone. This is how the Cult of Yurei faction is. Kato actually comes with a little marionette doll, which some people even magnetized because it's a separate piece, but people wanted to have it on the same base with Kato as well. Well, I actually decided to sculpt something a bit more traditional for Kato. The Java Isles is actually a fantasy setting, so it's not purely Japanese or Chinese. Technically, the Japanese puppet masters didn't have marionettes. They moved puppets using their hands, and the female puppets usually didn't have legs. Puppeteers made them look like they're walking just by moving the fabric of their dresses. This is Ikiro, the undead geisha girl. The miniature originally had a Glasgow smile, which I found rather untasteful, so some resculpting was done on her face. She stands on the edge of a pond with a drowned woman in it. This was achieved by press molding Malifaux Rotten Bell miniature and water effects, which unfortunately started turning yellow and shrinking, so I try to avoid using water effects in my basing projects. Instead, if I want to depict water, I use Milliput to sculpt waves crashing into rocks or things like fast-running mountain rivers. Maybe if I find clear resin which doesn't shrink or turn yellow, I'll start making murky water ponds again. Originally, Armad Karai miniature had a very static pose. It had one raised leg standing on something and held sword in each hand. Now, luckily, the sword arms could be attached at pretty much any angle, so I could pose him with his swords lowered. I also tilted the whole figure forward, which made him look like he's charging down that slope, and his pose went from being really static to really dynamic. My friends even said that he started looking really menacing, and that it's a very menacing pose. Something like that. I thought it would be cool to have something written in Japanese on his banner. After looking through different kanji characters, I picked one which means fierce and painted it on both sides of the banner. Karai farmer, basically a peasant zombie with a porcelain mask, carrying a hoe, a farming tool for removing weeds and shaping earth. I actually did some research on that particular type of hoe, because most people painted this farming tool as if its head was made from metal, and that includes the official paint job. But the head of period Japanese hoe this guy is carrying is supposed to be made from wood, but it did have a sharp metal edge attached to it. And that's exactly how I painted it. The base is a very simple idea, just some dirt steps with some bones. The crows improve the composition quite a bit. Here's another porcelain mask zombie, Karai Militia. This one is actually armed with a real weapon. Naginata beats a farmer's hoe any day. Books on Japanese woodblock prints are actually very good source of inspiration for this whole range actually. Things like patterns for kimonos, especially if you're good at painting freehand detail. Fairly simple base here as well. A raised wooden plank walkway decorated with skulls on sticks, so that makes it look like a really sinister place, which fits the theme here. The little rat on the base is a little bit too cartoony. In the end I end up using it, but I had doubts. Gok, the corpse collector. He's a bit like Quasimodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, only more deformed and has the mentality of a small child. That cart he carries is his box of toys, surrounded by a thick cloud of flies. The base is a traditional Japanese raised dirt path, coming up to a little broken bridge, and a woman and a child who were hiding underneath it got discovered. Maybe I should have made that little tree more obscuring. Cult of Yurei is my favorite faction in Bushido range. It's just so diverse. It's got undead, it's got cultists, it's got all sorts of supernatural creatures. Yeah, the most interesting faction in the range. Well, that's it for this video. Subscribe to my channel, leave comments below, and take care.